Good morning, Mr. Davis.
Good morning.
Would you please state your name and spell your last name for the record?
Gary Davis, D-A-V-I-S.
And sir, would you tell the jury how you're employed?
With the Missouri State Highway Patrol Crime Lab in Jefferson City.
And what is your job duty at the Missouri State Highway Patrol Crime Lab?
I'm currently criminal. I oversee our section, make sure all testing is done in a timely manner, all instrument maintenance taken care of, proficiency testing, things of that nature.
Okay. Could you tell the jury about your educational background?
Yes, I have a Bachelor's of Science in Chemistry from UCLA. I'm also board certified from the American Board of Forensic Toxicology.
Okay. And specifically with regard to, have you performed analyses of blood samples before to determine drug contents of blood?
Yes, I have.
And can you say approximately how many times you've performed that sort of test?
I don't know for sure. I'd say thousands of times.
And did you have any additional or specific training with regard to performing that role?
Well, yes. So over the years, I've had training throughout professional conferences that I attend on a yearly basis, workshops. When I started, I had on-the-job training, and also my certification involved a lot of studying and training in order to get the certification.
Your Honor, I'm approaching the witness with what's marked as Exhibit 27. It's a copy of this CD.
Again, Judge, would you like to respond, please? All right. 27 is admitted as stipulated by the defense.
Mr. Davis, is that your CD?
Yes, it is.
Is that the most up-to-date CD that you have?
Yes.
Okay, and that lists publications, research work, education, training, certifications, and associations you have in your field. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. I'll take that back. Your Honor, say tenders the witness as an expert in the field of toxicology.
Again, we stipulated. He shall be treated as
Okay. Approach the witness with what was previously admitted as State Exhibit 21. Mr. Davis, would you please look over State Exhibit 21?
Yes.
Okay. And do you recognize what State Exhibit 21 reports to be?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And what is that?
This is the evidence container for blood tubes submitted to our laboratory for alcohol and drug testing.
And does that container have evidence tape from the Missouri State Highway Patrol?
Yes, it does.
Okay, and does the container indicate it was received by the crime lab in Jefferson City?
Yes, it does.
Judge, we're going to stipulate in the chain of custody as well. Stipulation in the chain of custody is noted.
Mr. Davis, did you perform testing on a blood sample from Daniel Riley, specifically State's Exhibit 21?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And specifically, what testing did you perform?
This case was requested for alcohol and drug testing. So the first test was alcohol testing. And then after we finish that, we submit a separate alcohol report, and then we do the drug testing, which usually takes a little longer. And then that was performed afterwards.
Okay. And would you just tell the jury the results of the testing of that blood sample with respect to alcohol?
Yes, it was negative for alcohol.
Okay. And you indicated testing for drug content. Is that right?
Yes.
How do you test for drug content of a blood sample?
So every case that's submitted to us has to go through, first a screening process. It's called a presumptive screening, meaning it kind of gives us an idea of what may be there and how we can take further steps or more testing. So we screen for the 16 of the most common drugs found in the state of Missouri. And any positive screens have to go on to what we call a confirmation test. And that's a separate test with different steps involved in extracting drugs out of the blood, cleaning it up before we put it on the instrument.
Okay. And what is the purpose of performing the confirmation test, that process?
Well, it has to be, so our screen is what we call presumptive, meaning it's highly likely this drug is there, but in order to actually say it truly is there, you have to do a confirmation test. So this is more of a test that's specifically for that drug. So you might get a class of drugs, say like benzodiazepines, it'll screen positive for, but you don't know which one it is. It could be Xanax or Valium. So the confirmation test will tell you which drug it was out of that family of drugs.
Okay. And are the tests that the Missouri State Highway Patrol Crime Lab uses through that process you described generally accepted in your field as reliable?
Yes.
Okay. And are there any other steps that you can explain to the jury that would indicate measures taken to ensure the reliability of the results?
Well, with every test we run, we have to also...
Your Honor, can we approach? Sure.
Mr. Davis, does the Missouri State Highway Patrol use cut-off amounts basically in the detection of controlled substances?
Yes, we do.
And if a result is positive, it means it was above a trace amount below that cutoff limit. Is that right?
Yes.
And so when I ask you about the results later today, we're talking about results that were above that threshold, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. What were your findings with respect to the drug content of that blood sample you tested?
For the actual results or the screening or...
Your Honor, can we approach? I think everybody knows what the motion to eliminate states. You're confirming that stated reminded of the motion to eliminate.
I think I'll make this simpler, Your Honor. I'm pushing the witness with what's marked as State Exhibit 28.
We'll stipulate that. All right. Offered and admitted. Stipulation.
Mr. Davis, what is State's Exhibit 28?
It appears to be a copy of the toxicology report that I created and issued.
Okay. And does that report accurately set out your findings with respect to the those substances detected through the process you described?
Yes.
And could you tell the jury what the findings are indicated in that report?
Yes, I was able to confirm THC, which is the active ingredient in marijuana, and 2 of its metabolites, which are hydroxy-THC and carboxy-THC. Also, what was confirmed was fentanyl and codeine.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Davis, do you have training and are you familiar with indicia of someone being under the influence of those substances? Thank you. Mr. Davis, are you familiar with behavior that would be consistent with indicia of fentanyl, someone being under the influence of fentanyl?
Yes.
Can you describe to the jury what those indicia would be?
Fentanyl will cause drowsiness, really more of a relaxed, hard to even stay conscious prescribed for severe pain, and it pretty much will put you to sleep.
Mr. Davis, are you familiar with indicia of someone being under the influence of THC?
Yes.
And can you tell the jury what behavior would be consistent with someone under the influence of THC?
THC typically shows dizziness, drowsiness, confusion, loss of kind of sense of awareness, difficulties with divided attention tasks, such as driving. I was driving here today, and divided attention means you're monitoring a series of clues as you're heading some way in a car. So you're looking at traffic lights, off ramps, other cars around you, so that's divided attention tasks, and those can be severely impacted with THC.
And Mr. Davis, are you familiar with behavior that would be consistent with someone being under the influence of codeine?
Yes, codeine is similar to fentanyl. It's not as strong as an opiate, and it's also prescribed for pain, but not it's near as strong as fentanyl. So it's more of a pain relief, can also cause drowsiness and a little bit of confusion.
Okay. Your Honor, no further questions at this time.
Well, just before you did that, ethanol test as well,
Yes, I did.
and that's negative.
Yeah.
Nothing further.
All right, let's look at page 2.
Yes, Your Honor.